I would like to apologize for missing out on yesterday. Last week, new car trouble. Oh, the new car was broken. It's just that I had to go fix up the new car. Knife sometimes, right? Oh well. Lunaverse by Rainbow Double Dash. Crisis on Two Equestrias by Rainbow Double Dash. Chapter 10. Black Magic Show. There, going teleport. The Pony realized just as Twilight and Twilight's horns began to glow. She ignored the smoke with her hose and reached out magically, using her full power in panic. No, you don't! She exclaimed, her own horn reaching out with magic, just as the teleportation bubbles began to form around the four around them. She seized him and pulled as hard as she could. You can't escape that easily. I'm going to kill you and... She pulled too hard in her panic. Well, what had happened was much more complicated than simply accidentally throwing them over her shoulder. Just about amounted to that. As he quickly turned, just in time to see the teleportation bubbles pop them out of existence. Even as Trixie's wagon hit the ground behind the pony and splintered to 1,000 pieces. She hurled it somewhere deep in the Everfree, he realized. The pony groaned and rolled her eyes. Perfect, she chastised herself. Horn clothing, she prepared to spread a pair of wings that manifested on her back. She beat him a few times, heading into the air. An equine body in freefall approaches a terminal velocity of about 120 miles per hour after roughly 15 seconds of falling. Twilight thought in the brief instant where she was suspended in midair rather than falling. Rate of acceleration is roughly 32 feet per second squared in a vacuum, where falling is slower than that due to air resistance though. There's about 10 seconds before we hit the ground. Twilight! Luna screamed right in her ear, just as the two of them began to fall. Out of the corner of her eye, Twilight saw Sparkle and Trixie appear and also started plummeting. 9 seconds. One of us has to teleport all of us so we don't get separated, she thought, even as Sparkle looked at her. Her eyes told Twilight that her counterpart had reached the same conclusion. 8 seconds. Speed is maintained by teleporting, so I had to teleport before reaching terminal velocity anyway, or it won't matter. 7 seconds. Sparkle reached out with her hoof, and Twilight grabbed it as she looked around, while Trixie and Lulumoon screamed. But this was the will of winter. All trees had lost their leaves. The leaves might have served as something as a cushion, but without them, the trees weren't going to make their landing any easier. 6 seconds. I see a lake, Sparkle said, pulling. 5 seconds. But we're going too fast. Water will be as hard as a rock. 4 seconds. The water was probably freezing anyway. If they hit it or teleported straight into it, they'd go into shock. The ground was very close. 3 seconds. They were close enough to terminal velocity now it wouldn't matter. Velocity! I have an idea! Twilight called, pulling Sparkle, and therefore Trixie closer to make teleporting easier. 2 seconds. Twilight closed her eyes, its air horn glowing. 1 second! Twilight swore she felt the ground just slightly touch her for a fraction of a second as they all teleported. Pop! For a moment, there was a blissful silence of the slight delay between disappearing and reappearing, and then, pop! Twilight opened her eyes. She let out a cry of delight as she saw her plan had worked. The ground was moving away from them, and they were now ascending into the sky. What? Trixie demanded, her screaming stopping. Speed is maintained in a teleport, Twilight explained, but velocity doesn't have to be. All I had to do was change our direction so we were falling up. Brilliant! Sparkle said, clapping her foreheads together as they continued to sail upwards, although without thrust behind him. They were slowing down notably. I didn't even think of that. Now you're thinking of parting, Twilight said with a smile. That's what Princess Celestia told me the first time I showed her that. It was great. There's a fun little obstacle course he set up at the garden, and I had the same thing. Well, obviously it wasn't set up by the princess, but... Magic! Wonderful! We're falling again! Trixie exclaimed. Huh? Oh, right. Hang on. As the pony soared through the sky, she sensed her quarry teleporting twice. She froze in the sky, eyes wide at the thought of them leaving the Everfree. Well, according to that little crystal they created to track her, which she used to do the reverse, they're still within the forest. She breathed out a sigh of relief. That was close, though, she thought aloud, pausing a few moments and considering. She smacked her hooves together and smiled brightly, when a solution occurred to her, however. Her horn glowed deep blue, as she fired off a burst of magic towards the sky over the center of the Everfree. It reached its destination inside of a minute. did seem to vanish. It hadn't, however, simply changed its nature. To any being with magical sight, the skies over the Everfree seemed to begin to roil and twist, shattering and shifting until they began to spin around and around like a hurricane, glowing with angry, dark magic. Ha! The pony is going to see resume their flight. Try teleporting now. The pony felt pretty good about herself after that trick. Still, sooner or later, they're going to figure out that she could track them through the crystal. Probably sooner. She needed some other way of finding them. And an amusing way to kill them, of course. It needed to be simultaneously, too. Well, maybe not. There was still a chance it would make a difference. But fun or no, the pony didn't want to leave her very existence. Still only measuring in hours of the chance. She spotted a cave up ahead and frowned. Something about it seemed familiar. She dug through the fake memories of Twilight and Trixie that she had. It wasn't much, just flashes of small insights into her minds. When a particular memory flashed through her mind, she laughed, landed in front of the cave, magically stirring her wings as she skipped in, her horn glowing brightly as she looked around. It didn't take her long to find her target, sleeping soundly. Hi there, kiddo. It's Mommy home. Twilight and Sparkle landed easily on her hooves after the second teleport, while Trixie and Lunamoon tumbled them off, both proceeding to kiss the ground furiously. Twilight was smiling for a few moments at their antics, and also had her own escape from certain doom by creating a spell use. She swiftly remembered, however, what had caused that certain doom. The purple, empty eyes of the pony that had attacked them flashed through her mind. She fell back on their haunches. I am all the bile and hatred and doubt that you four felt, put in the pony-state suit, conjured up by the dying embers of the Saturn element, and given life and sentience. Without you, I wouldn't exist. We made her, Twilight said aloud, eyes wide. She looked at Sparkle, Trixie, and Lunamoon. That pony. She said we made her, that she was the element of magic. She's lying, Lunamoon said. She has to be. Twilight pointed at the magical device she created to track the element of magic. But you saw where that was pointing. Hey! Trixie swiftly taking the gem from Trixie's cape, throwing it to the ground, and stomping a hoof down on it. It broke apart with a crunch and burst of magic. 5 bits say that she found us by following this, she said, telekinetically lifting the pieces of the stone she crushed and hurling it away. You can probably follow it here. Lunamoon's right, Sparkle added, glancing at her counterpart. We can't take the chance. Twilight looked down at her hooves. She wasn't lying, she said. I say she was. She wasn't. You saw that beam was pointing at her, and a special talent for anti-magic? And we made her! Twilight was up now, beginning to pace back and forth. The element of magic broke apart. It was because we were fighting over it. Now, everything that was bad about us has been made into her. That's not possible. Lunamoon began, then paused, thinking. After a moment, she let out a long sigh. It's possible, actually. Huh? Sparkle asked. How? I know the element of magic is powerful, but I never heard any of the elements actually making a pony before. I have, Lunamoon said, glancing at the three of them. She bit her lip. I can't go into details. I promised Princess Luna, but the elements have created a pony before, in my world at least. She isn't anything like that pony. The four of them looked at each other uncomfortably. At length, Trixie stomped the forest floor with one hoof. Well, she said, Trixie is officially homeless again. She's getting hungry, and she is no way coming here expecting to fight a pony-shaped abomination against magic. I wish to go back to Ponyville now. Bad idea, Sparkle said. I'm not even supposed to be here. I just want to go home. We can't just run away, Twilight objected, stepping forward and looking between the three ponies. Princess Luna and your Princess Celestia, she pointed at Lunamoon, sent us into the Everfree to get the element of magic back. Trixie looked at Twilight, eyes narrowed. Trixie was using the magic sight spell that her counterpart designed to show her. It was active for the entire fight. That pony, she's like a hole in magic. She has no aura. When she cast spells, it wasn't like she was creating effects. It was more like she was ripping spell-shaped holes in the world, and magic would rush in to fill the gap. Trixie shook her head. Trixie learned from the Ursa Minor, Twilight, and from the Alicorn Hamlet. She knows. I know my limits. I can't fight her. But Little Moon opened her mouth, beginning to eject, before closing it, sighing it. She looked to Sparkle at Trixie. Twilight's right, she said. Looked to Twilight. But Trixie and Sparkle, they're not here for this. We're the ones who broke the element. They're Nazi princesses of the Alicorns. They shouldn't have come, and we can't disrupt them. Twilight blinked a few times, surprised at the sudden shift of maturity from Little Moon. She nodded after a moment. Okay, she said, trotting forward so she was standing under the other tree. I'll teleport us all back to the library. We can rest, do some research, then Little Moon and I can come back here and deal with that pony. The other three nodded, stepping closer to Twilight. She closed her eyes, thought of her library, and teleported. Pop! There was a brief delay between teleports, and it was anything but quiet. A deafening roar reached Twilight's ears as the four of them created for a moment to move through space. Pop! Yeah! Twilight cried as they came tumbling down to the ground. She rolled several feet, her movement stopped by a tree. Sparkle had been tossed into the air, and lighted tangled in the branches of a pine tree. Little Moon skated past Twilight, was keeping her footing before falling down, while Trixie... Oof! Twilight exhaled as Trixie skidded into her barrel, with enough force for Trixie to roll over onto Twilight, and hit the tree Twilight hit as well. A few moments were the ones scrambling, checking each other to make sure every pony was okay. Little Moon stumbled back to the rest of them. Sparkle managed to get out of the tree, with only a small amount of fuss and pain. Trixie picked herself off of Twilight, and the three of them glared at her. Twilight shook her head. What? She demanded. It wasn't me! Maybe I should have teleported us. Wait, hang on, Little Moon said, stopping the argument before it could begin. Give me a second. I got a feeling that... Her horn glowed blue, as did her eyes after a moment. She looked up. Her eyes grew wide. What? Trixie asked, repeating the trick herself, albeit somewhat more effort and pink glow. Oh my. What is it? Sparkle asked, looking up. The sky was slightly overcast, but looked otherwise normal, or as normal as anything ever looked in Neverfree. The sky is spinning, Little Moon said, like water down a drain. There's this black lightning all over the place, and it's like the storms that form over the sunny seas south of New Orleans, Trixie said. Hurricanes, he called them. The weather pig is right there. The main job is to prevent them from hitting land. It's dangerous. What? Twilight demanded, staring at the sky. She couldn't see magic like Trixie or Little Moon, but maybe. She closed her eyes, setting her horn glowing as she tried to sense the ambient magic of the area. And Sparkle did likewise. She discovered that Trixie and Little Moon were right. There was a kind of drain in the sky, rolling, twisting morass that seemed to be pulling at the ground beneath it. Don't know about hurricanes, Sparkle said after a moment, opening her eyes and glancing at the other three. But it's definitely a whirlpool. Any pony trying to teleport inside the Everfree Forest gets tossed and spun around, dropped anywhere. Her eyes widened at her own words as she glanced around. We could be anywhere inside the Everfree. We could be 100 miles from Ponyville. More! How did that pony make this? Little Moon asked, shaking her head. I don't care that she was made from the element of magic. No unicorn is this powerful! So I felt panic coming on. It had been building for a while. But in fact, hearing Little Moon and, more poignantly, Sparkle begin ones of their own finally touched her off. This isn't possible! She exclaimed, pacing back and forth. Ponies aren't just made for nothing. This kind of power that she's using, only the princesses or Discord have it. And she shouldn't be this evil! Now, Princess Celestia is angry at me, and is going to stop being my teacher. You think you have it bad? Little Moon demanded, though there were tears in her eyes. She wiped them away, trying to fight him. I'm not the nice as it is, with Luna as it is. I mean, yeah, she united me, but that was more for political reasons than anything. Luna would be crazy not to serve me in my rank. It sent me right back to New Orleans for this, even if I fix everything. And I'll never see my friends again. Trixie is homeless, again! Trixie wailed, doing little to hide her own tears. All she wanted to do was come back to Ponyville and apologize and put on a magic show, rebuild her reputation. Now she has to get a wagon again and start over. She has no bits and nothing but the cape on her back and hat again. She clutched her cape on her hose, closing her eyes tightly. don't want to go back to that rock farm. There's no magic, no smiling, just rocks. Though Trixie has to agree, that one mare with the down mane and monotone voice rocks. She is quite the looker. Man, Trixie, what is with you getting all the mares? At least you get to go back to your family, Sparkle exclaimed. She was on the ground, hose over her head. I screwed everything up. All I wanted to do was learn more magic, but I spent all these months just running around and hiding and ruining boys' lives, and I'm a fugitive, and I'm going to spend the rest of my life in jail, and my parents are going to want to see me. Lunaverse looked at Sparkle. What are you talking about? She demanded. Your dad will be overjoyed. He'll probably declare the day you came back the Twilight Day in Latigo. Don't make fun of me. I'm not. I talked to your dad before the Grand Galloping Gala. He's a... CCP searched desperately for the right words. And Link sighed. He's a wreck. He'd give up everything just to see you for a minute or two. He'd do anything to any pony else if he thought it'd help. Even threatened to. She trailed off and shook her head. Doesn't matter. Look, the point is, yeah, you're going to go to jail, but your dad will see you every single day. Brother, too. And Mom? Luna shook her head. Never met her. I don't know. Sparkle stared a long time at Lila Moon, who stared back. At length, she stood up straighter, horn glowing. An instinctive call for attention from the unicorns. Twilight and Trixie both glanced at her. I want to go home, Sparkle said. I want to go home. And sitting around here and complaining and crying and worrying, that isn't going to help. So we're all going to pick up the rice and start walking. If we run into that pony, we'll just bugger straight into the sun, okay? Twilight stared at the sudden force behind her counterpart's words. She wondered, idly, what exactly she had been up to for the past few months that seemed to have broken her so much, robbed her so much of her self-esteem. Whatever it had been, she clearly just decided to get over it. Twilight stood and nodded. Okay, she said. I guess you're right. Princess Celestia might not ever forgive me, but she definitely won't if all I do is sit around and do nothing. Princess Luna, too, Little Moon exclaimed. I have the pony she thinks I can be, or else I'll never get to keep my friends. Trixie glanced between the three of them. Trixie doesn't have friends, she said. Trixie is an Alicorn student. Trixie is as homeless, again, and all the species in the world aren't going to change that. Twilight trotted up to her. You can stay with me, she said, until you're back on your hooves. God, I love that story. That story is one of my favorites. Anyway, no rock farm. Trixie doesn't need help from any pony. The Stone began. When she paused, she looked down at herself, still wringing her cape between her hooves. At length, she sighed. Okay. Trixie sees her point. And she glanced at Twilight. Thank you. Twilight nodded. She smiled at the three other ponies as Sparkle picked a direction and started walking. The other three, having no better idea than she did, followed. Who knows? Twilight said. Maybe we could be friends at the end of this? Sparkle scoffed. It didn't say anything about us having to like each other, she said. So she's trying to decide if Twilight looking dejected. But I guess we don't have to hate each other. Hundreds of miles away, atop the Canterhorn, within Camelot Castle, just Luna Fans explaining herself to the other Luna, the one native to this world. She wanted to see her reaction, but found herself unable to do anything but stare at her own host as she spoke. Wings held tightly at her side. Oh, I see, the native Luna said. So, you understand that the princess here did not mean to offend you? Celestia's voice asked. Luna flinched. Celestia had been quiet as Luna explained herself. She had somehow almost forgotten her presence. She glanced up and found Celestia standing next to Luna, looking down at her. She was standing close enough that her wings were just barely touching, looking down at her little sister with deep concern, worry, and love. Luna looked away, instead at the Statue of Discord, somehow finding that a more agreeable sight. It hadn't moved an inch, physically or magically. The spirit of chaos and disharmony remained as trapped as now as he currently was in Luna's world. She didn't really see it, though. Even if she wasn't looking at the pair, the maze of the two of them was just burned into her mind. For just a few precious seconds, Luna had been able to convince herself she had Celestia back. That her elder sister was sane and whole and never had been. That Luna had failed her so utterly. But it had been a few seconds. Reality came crashing back down. The presence of this other Luna only served to reinforce its barriers. So you understand that the princess here did not mean to offend you? Celestia asked Luna. Of course she didn't, Luna thought, eyes narrowed. Well, she did. Nay, a very presence is offensive. Luna stood from where she had been sitting, glancing between Celestia and her otherworldly doppelganger. She wouldn't even look Luna in her eyes, instead focusing on the statue of discord. I insist that thou shalt not again attempt to usurp my rightful control over the domain of the night, she said. She knew she was slipping into eerily modern equestrian, but didn't care. Carapont nodded, glancing a moment at her. Of course, she said. If I had even taken a moment to investigate this little detail, I would have seen that doing that was unnecessary. But your Celestia never fell as mine did. She looked down, closing her eyes. I apologize. Luna fought back a slight sneer. Not the apology itself, but rather at Luna's tone, which to her ears seemed full of condensation. She never allowed the loneliness and enviness to consume her, as Luna had. Yes, well, Luna said, shifting her weight from one hoof to another. Quite. She looked at Celestia. If thou wouldst excuse me, sister, I must now inform the castle of thy return, and see to assuaging the fears of ponies. Actually, Celestia said, spreading her wings a little. There was a slight, familiar twinkle in her eye. I would prefer you to stay, Luna, as I've desperately trying for hours now to get a decent cup of tea, as you know. I do not like to take my tea alone. Luna stiffened slightly. But the ponies! The day progresses as it should, Celestia interrupted, a slight smile on her face. The night will come soon, and your court begins then. It's winter, Luna, and I don't see as much of you as I would like as a result. Luna's eyes arrowed. Tia, thy attempts to forge a bond of friendship between myself and Doppelganger are as transparent as glass. Excellent, Celestia said. Try and pass, Luna. You caught on already. That'll make things run much more smoothly. Wait here, I'll get fancy tea. But, Luna began, turning and staring at her sister as she tried from the gardens towards the castle. Tia! I'm certain you two will have a lot in common. I'll be back in just a few. Luna bristled, wings flaring. No, Luna was not some little filly. Celestia couldn't order her to stay in place. She was a diarch, Celestia's equal in all things. She began trying after Celestia, intent on leaving the garden and seeing on saving her rep, when she heard her breath hit in her throat. Or it sounded like that, anyway. It came from a few behind her. Oh no, Luna thought. She sees where this was going, and she turned around to look at her counterpart. The other Princess Luna was sitting still, eyes downcast, but with one hoof to her mouth. Luna couldn't see her face clearly, but she imagined the tears were there. Luna stared after Celestia's retreating form, then back to her counterpart, then back again. She scowled, stopped her hoof, and turned back around, trying over to the other Luna. It did not escape her that this Luna seemed somewhat taller, though only by a few inches. There's all 1,000 years of freedom? Well, she's just simply taller. Wherefore, why are you crying? Luna asked. Luna is forcing herself to use modern equestrian. The other Luna took in a deep breath, then let it out with a shudder, before looking up at her counterpart. I'm not, she insisted. It's just that I was remembering how insufferable Celestia could be sometimes, and how annoyed it made me. She smiled softly. So sure, so convinced that she knew how to fix everybody's problems. Of course, that was the problem. She looked back down, eyes distant. Luna scowled slightly. You should not have come here, she said without thinking. She immediately scrambled to cover her track. Here in the castle, that is. I suspect it brings up bad memories for you. The other Luna closed her eyes, shaking her head. Memories, yes. Not bad ones, though. Just what makes them hurt. Luna scowled, deepened at that. Did her counterpart have to show so much maturity even in the face of her own pain? Luna knew full well that there were situations reversed. She doubted she could keep a level head as her counterpart was. The fact that she was annoyed by this only served to annoy her more. She closed her own eyes, forcing herself to take a few calming breaths. After that, she did her best not to think of the other Luna at all. She seemed lost in her own thoughts. There, Luna determined. She could stay for a moment, while C tried to parse through her own feelings on the matter. Certainly wasn't jealousy plaguing her. Nope, not at all, not even a little. Tea time! Luna let out a breath slowly, opening one eye. Celestia bore a fine mahogany tray, set with ceramic, ornate cups, imported from the far distant Quinlan Empire. A tea set, broken down only a few foreign dignitaries visited Equestria. Several servants followed Celestia with trays set with biscuits and pastries, as well. If any of them seemed confused at the sight of two Lunas, none of them showed it. Though it was possible Celestia told them what to expect. Luna looked at Celestia, eyebrows raised slightly. What? Was very fast here, she noted. She expected Celestia to disappear for an hour, at least, but her own internal sense of time told her it had been no more than 15 minutes. Celestia smiled, even as she nodded to one of the servants who had followed her out. Feather Duster informed me I had taken the day off. I am not outside the castle, unless I accidentally run into some official or another they pester me. She was very insistent. The Pegasus maid smiled slightly, even as he laid out a blanket and set out the trays of food, and held Celestia with the tea set. Now, if there's anything you need, Majesty? No, thank you, Miss Duster. I will call you if something should come up. The servants all bowed and left. Celestia poured out cups of tea for the three of them. Luna's counterpart glanced at the statue of Discord, the tea set, even as Celestia poured out 2 cups of tea for the Lunas, and one for herself. We are going to take the tea in the spirit of disharmony, she noted. Celestia nodded. We'll be in an excellent position to react should Discord break free. But until then, he's only a statue like any other. At least, that's how I choose to see it. She took a sip of tea. Celestia, already a generally optimistic soul, visibly brightened further, wings rising just slightly, her posture becoming a little bit better, and her smile becoming a little more honest. Suddenly, all is right with the world, Luna thought of her sister. Every problem solvable, every difficulty surmountable. There's tea, and tea is a solution to all problems. Rather, it has an amazing ability to replace all problems with a more fundamental one. Why isn't there any more tea? Celestia Luna looked at her counterpart, who was staring into her own cup of tea, the same distant, deliberately distant look on her face. The local and rightful Princess of the Night looked away quickly, scowled at her own tea, taking a long drink and ignoring how it tried to burn her tongue. Her own problems, on the other hoof, would require a bit more than tea to solve.